Today's episode, I should say, is talking about something that I have not visited in or picked up in the past 30 years. And I came across it the other day as I was cleaning out my books. And what I found was my dissertation from 1999. And my dissertation was on dream theory and historical analysis from 1960 to 1996. And I had forgotten all about this, but not the dissertation itself, but the hard work that I put into it. And I hadn't touched it since probably the year 2000. And it was just refreshing to pick it up and thought to myself, I wonder how dreams theory has changed since my dissertation, because again, that was 30 years ago. And so I did some research, and what I wanted to share with you today is some research that I found on dream theory. So, how did I choose this topic for my dissertation? I grew up in a family that always valued their dreams. For whatever reason, they valued their dreams. My grandmother had dreams, my great grandmother had dreams, and in fact, two distinct dreams that my great grandmother had was she would tell me that when I was born, she had a dream of me as a infant, I guess, or a toddler, had a dream of me standing next to a white lamb. And that was a dream that always stuck with me. And then her other dream that she had as in her youth, I'm talking about my great grandmother now, she had lost her son to, I think, an appendix burst. And she had told me it was very heart wrenching for her, and she would cry all the time. But one night she had a dream that he came to her and gave her a handkerchief and said, "Mama, don't cry anymore." And she told me from that point on in her life, when he came to her in a dream and handed her that handkerchief, she never shed another tear again. So with that, and then on the flip side of it, my grandma, there was a relative that had passed away. And I remember my grandma had said, "Oh, I had a dream about so and so." And she went to her house and she told me, don't come into the house. It's too hot. And so I was like, is my grandma trying to tell me that my aunt was not in a good place? So kind of just kind of grew up with these dream scenarios. So when it came time for my dissertation, I said I was going to do a historical analysis on dream theory. Now, the reason I chose 1960 to 1996, I needed to narrow down, as you do in dissertations or masters, or you kind of narrow things down. So I didn't want it too broad, and I wanted more recent. So with that, I had various theories that I looked at, and like I said, I wanted to see how things have changed. Things have changed. And in fact, in my dissertation, I had put suggestions that neurological and psychological needed to combine in order to understand what dreaming is. And in fact, what I researched was that there is a new type of a new theory out there called the threat simulation theory. Now, again, these are just theories, and it was introduced by Anti-Revenuso, and I think if I've researched this correctly, back in 2000. And basically, what the threat simulation theory is that we rehearse things in our dreams that we are threatened by, whether it be, it's like almost like a fire drill type of thing that whatever we have anxiety for or threatened by, that we rehearse it in our dreams. It's gained a lot of popularity, and it's one of the leading ideas. As for myself, I'm not quite into that. as compared to my dreams that I have. I'm not usually fighting anything or threatening anything, but it is one of the leading theories out there. Another theory that I came across in the recent years is the continuity hypothesis. And what that states is that dreams mirror our waking concerns, not literal events, but the emotional themes that we're living through: stress at work, relationship struggles, joy. And all of these seem to show up in our dreams. That's another theory. Another theory is that a memory and problem solving task that our brains try to solve the problems through our dreams. Another one that had began in the 70s, activation synthesis model, which I touched upon in my dissertation, has actually reframed itself to AIM framework, which looks at dreams as part of shifting states of consciousness. And it's not just noise, but patterns that the mind is trying to organize, which another theory in my dissertation was that the brain is trying to clean itself out like a computer brain. And so you'll have all these random types of dreams coming through to clean itself out as a computer brain would want to be cleaned out. The other ones are emotional housekeeping theory. Rosalind Cartwright found that people who dreamed vividly after divorce were more likely to recover emotionally. So that's another theory out there. And then there's the predictive brain, lucid control, and lucid dreaming. Now, lucid dreaming, I'm going to save for another episode because this is one of the more, how shall I say, more intense types of theories about dreams. And what was interesting to me about lucid dreaming, which I'll give you a little hint, is that it states that one can control their dream. And lucid dreaming is knowing in your dream that you are dreaming, therefore you can control it. We'll explore that a little bit more. And also, unbeknownst would that not be if we didn't bring in AI? And now I have found that there are AI tools that researchers can analyze dream reports in new ways, and even taking the narrative and making it into a 3D animation. So from the time I've done my research to present, the dreams are no longer just a mystical messaging or random noise. And we've got to remember that dreams were also in biblical times and ancient times, and dreams are from the beginning of time, because Solomon had his dream, Daniel had his dream. They argue that John with Revelations, they don't know. Some say it was a dream, some say it was a vision. So remember that dreams and visions, two different things. We're talking about dreams in the sleeping state, REM. There's increasingly, that's multi-layered, and dream theory is multi-layered and part of survival training, part memory lab, part emotional therapy. It's a playground for the unconsciousness. I think it incorporates all of it. After briefly looking at all of these theories and going through my theory or my dissertation, I just think that it's a conglomerate. First of all, we'll never understand dreams. That is just one concept. We can be hooked up to everything and monitor and record. But I think we can apply these theories to our dreams. And as we are all wired differently, I don't think any of us, and we all have different likes, dislikes, and we're all individuals. And so I believe that we also dream individually. I may be a housekeeping dreamer, or somebody else could dream continuity theory, or someone else could dream the threat or dream in a threat theory way. And some of us out there, I would like to know if there's some that can do lucid dreaming. Now, in the laboratories that I've researched, there was a lot of evidence about people and their lucid dreams. Again, I'm going to get into this topic in next episode. But I think just as we're different, we dream different. And so I want to leave you with this. Have you ever had a dream that you felt like you were rehearsing something? Have you ever chronologically or journalized your dreams? Or have you even tried the lucid dreaming? And with that, I leave you with sleep good and dream big.